Warning: the Surgeon General has determined that portions of this video have been known to cause extreme boredom. Adult supervision is recommended. Hey boys and girls, it's time for environmental video. Let's take a ride on Chiles-Pope Valley Road in Napa County, California. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're leaving one of my service calls that I made out here in the country. This is Pope Valley, California. It's very lovely, but in the summertime quite hot. But today it's a very nice day. As you can see, the sky is blue and clear. Trucks are on the road, and life is good. So we're coming out to the main road here. This is Chiles-Pope Valley Road, and being the safe driver we always want to be, we're looking both ways before we proceed. We are turning south on Chiles-Pope Valley Road, and if you'll note, I've put the coordinates, the Google Earth coordinates for that left turn in the sidebar. Now, there are a couple little things that I noticed about this particular outing, and that is it's a very bright day, and we've got a lot of reflection off the dashboard. Never could get rid of that, and you'll see that I try to minimize that by putting the visor down, and it just doesn't do any good. So the road we just passed on the left, I don't know if you noticed that, that is Pope Canyon Road. And Pope Canyon Road is a road that takes you out to Lake Berryessa through a very, very lovely canyon. We're going to be going through a canyon too, Chiles Canyon, but it's not as pronounced a canyon as the Pope Canyon is. Anyway, I've had to speed up the video at this point because otherwise it was going to be like a 23-minute video, and as it is, it's 18 minutes long. So those of you who don't want to sit through 18 minutes of driving pleasure probably ought to drop off anytime soon. We've slowed back down to normal speed because what we're going to be doing just now is going into the Chiles Valley itself, and I wanted to slow down so that we could see this lovely meadow that's in the upper part of Chiles Valley. There's a small ridge separating Pope Valley from Chiles Valley. We just crossed over it a few seconds ago, and now we're in Chiles Valley, upper Chiles Valley, and looking at a lovely meadow there. I think they grow hay crops on it. The Chiles Valley is one valley east of the Napa Valley. I mean, in Napa County, the Napa Valley gets all of the limelight. But Napa Valley is a very small part, actually. It's a sliver of Napa County, which is a sizable county in its own right. Now we've speeded back up again, and we're just going to go quickly through this farmland here and get to our next point where we slow down, which is actually when we enter the canyon. While we're on our way here, I'd like to read a little bit to you from a document, and I've got the link, and it's Napa Valley Transportation Authority, actually, as part of some sort of an EIR that they produced. It created quite a history of the period. According to this document, the Napa County was first recorded as explored in 1823 by a Mexican Spanish Francisco Castro, who made the first recorded exploration of Napa County in 1823. The expedition party, which included Jose Sanchez and Father Jose Altamira, explored the region north of San Francisco Bay before founding the mission San Francisco Solano in the present city of Sonoma. The Napa region was selected as a mission cattle ranch. And that brought in the Rancho period, where the Spanish land grants were given by the Mexican government, which at that time was part of the Spanish Empire. The Rancho Catacula was dated to Joseph Ballinger Chiles, who was amongst the first Americans to settle California in the early 1840s. In the 1840s and 50s, he made several journeys between California and Missouri. Chiles and his party blazed several trails across the Sierra Nevada on early expeditions. In 1844, Chiles obtained title to the Rancho Catacula, or Catacula, which was located in the valley that later bore his name, and the one we're driving in right now. For decades, the valley was used to graze both cattle and horses. Chiles built an adobe house on the Rancho Catacula in 1846 and settled down to farm the land and raise Missouri mules and Durham cattle, for which he became well known. Chiles also built a grist mill on the rancho in 1846, which was among the first built in Northern California. The mill was in operation until the 1880s, producing 9 barrels of flour daily, as the demand for commodities skyrocketed during the gold rush in 1849. Chiles also manufactured whiskey until the late 1870s under the Catacula label, touted as a sign of excellence. So it's a little bit of history there for the Chiles Valley. As we are now approaching in fact, we're in the canyon part of Chiles Canyon. As you can see, it's not that extreme of a canyon, but there's a drop off to the right down into the creek bed, which flows through and has carved out this land feature. And in some spots, it's a bit precarious because there's no guardrail, and it's a good 10 feet down from the road bed down to the creek bed. So it can get a little nerve-wracking sometimes. This is one of my favorite parts of the trip, in that I really enjoy going through the canyon. Can't go very fast, but it's very enjoyable. And this time of year, it's still pretty green, although these trees never go dry. There's adequate water supply in the canyon floor. Because of the creek, which runs most of the year. It doesn't run all year, but it runs most of the year. And it drains into Lake Hennessy, which is a man-made lake. We're passing a little bit of a slide damage on the right there. I mean on the left, excuse me. My other right. And we're going to be coming out of the canyon soon, and then you'll see Lake Hennessy. Lake Hennessy is a man-made lake. It's a valley that was dammed up some years ago to provide water for the city of Napa. So it's one of the main water supplies points for the city of Napa in the southern part of Napa County, or Napa Valley, at the bottom of Napa Valley. So we're still driving through the canyon here. And that clicking noise in the background is very bothersome to me. I'm sure it is to you, but I don't know what's causing that. I didn't hear that during the filming, so maybe it's because the way I'm holding the camera, the strap for the camera was waving around as the car drove, and there's a little plastic ring on it, and maybe that's what's banging against the body of the camera and making that clicking sound. But I didn't hear it during the taping. Couldn't hear it then. So there's another view of the canyon area on the left now that we've crossed the creek. It's really nice here when the water's running heavy. It's just kind of a trickle now that's getting close to summer, but when the water's running heavy, it's quite picturesque. You can see that drop off on the left there, that right into the creek bed, no guardrail. And we're speeding it back up again because we're through some of the less picturesque area. Okay, now we slowed down again to be ready for the lake to show up on the right. The lake. Oh, there it is. The lake will show up on the right here, and there it is. I'm having a little trouble with my playback. My video playback is stalling, so if this is a little out of sync, I apologize. There's always a car when you're in the middle of nowhere and you come to a stop sign. There's always a car. I can't believe it. Never fails. Here's some nice shots of the lake. It looks pretty full to me. Everybody's crying the blues and saying drought, 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 but you know, that lake looks pretty full. People are allowed to fish in this lake, even though it's a water supply lake. And also people are allowed to do some kind of limited boating. There's a nice boat ramp and parking lot down here a ways, and I'll show you that. A lot of people come up here and use their sailboats, their small sailboats, and because in the afternoons there's a bit of a wind through here, and so it makes for good sailing. And it's a very placid lake otherwise, you know, so that also helps. Well, looks like this truck's gonna let me by, so here we go. And here's the boat facility, the boat ramp, and the parking lot, and that they have is very nice here with restrooms and so forth. They have restrooms scattered around the perimeter of the lake to for people to use. They do not allow any elimination of waste in the water. After all, it is the water supply. It is well stocked with fish, though, and it's a favorite spot for fishermen to come and try their luck. And I've never really understood why they allow fish in the water and not the people, but I suppose it's the human germs that are bad, not the fish germs. It's a pretty sizable lake, as you can see. We're coming around coming from around this end of it so that we can get to our destination, which we're very close to the end point of this video at this point. So this is where I I do some of my work, and you can see there's trucks on the road. Mostly trucks on the road, as you noticed. Not too many cars. Out here, this is a mostly agricultural area, and during the weekday like this, it's mostly work going on out here. So you'll see a lot of trucks, pickup trucks and ranch vehicles and so forth. Not all that many regular cars and personal vehicles. In Napa County, it's very surprising that you just go a few hundred yards off of the main drag, and maybe a half a mile off the main drag, and the population or density drops precipitously. So out here, we're very few people live out here. However, there's more than you would think, because above this road, both above the lake on the left there are people have like estates that have been built up there on the hill, and so there's houses all through there up in the hill there. That's called Pritchard Hill. Some cyclists out on the road. This is an excellent road for cycling, although I think it'd be a bit on the dangerous side with all the trucks on a weekday like this. And on weekends, then you have the pleasure riders that, you know, just drive out to the lake. Now we're coming up on the spillway structure, and I'm going to show that to you in a moment. And here it is. It's a spillway structure. A friend of mine actually built that, or did the earth excavation for it. That's kind of a little bit of history there, a little trivia. And we're on the final approach now to the intersection of this road, which is actually now Sage Canyon Road, or Highway 128 west, because when we hit that stop sign a little earlier, we actually left Chiles-Pope Valley Road and joined Highway 128, or Sage Canyon Road. And we're you see that earlier we saw the pipeline that's taking the water to Napa. The big pipeline. It's got to be, gosh, 18 inches, maybe 24 inches in diameter. It's a big pipeline. I used to drink Lake Hennessey water once when I lived in Napa, in North Napa, but now I live in Solano County, and the water comes from somewhere else. I think it probably comes from the Sacramento River, the water I drink, although I'm not really sure. A lot of trucks on the road out here today. End of our road here. It's really nice. It's been nice having you along on the ride. Please ride along again. This is your good buddy Ken Bank signing off. Stop sign. Time to stop. Bye.
This has been a Hugusamus Films production.